We set out to make the best game possible, and Sony supports everything.
Being able to make an open world game in the area roughly where we live has been amazing. I mean, who gets to do that?
Every day that we've gotten to work on this title has made it better. We maintain that positive mindset about the whole thing. Like, let's just go through and kind of do the best we can.
And the motorcycles and all the things that we're doing, it's just, we felt it was great, and we're glad Sony gave us the opportunity to spend the time to create this product.
We faced so many challenges on this. I mean, our last game came out in 2011 on the PlayStation Vita, if I can remember. Yeah. And we were a team of like 40 people. And that was pretty much the biggest game to that point in our studio's history. And kind of building an open world game on the PlayStation 4 with massive zombie tech and with motorcycles and just all kinds of new elements. I mean, I think that everything presented a challenge just because we were just so ambitious. You know, it was really an epic ambition that we said, this is what we're going to make and let's just do it. And then we had to, there was some wisdom involved, but we had to figure out a lot of stuff. You know, we knew that these problems would be facing us, but when we got to them, we really had to kind of learn new things to kind of overcome them.
The big thing is we knew that we wanted to be relevant. We knew we wanted to make sure everything was grounded in reality, and then making that fun and unique and something new, right? So that's when, you know, the ideas of, you know, 500-600 man people coming after you, it's, you know, we started with that and kind of played with that. We have an evil genius at our studio, and he's our physics guy anyway. He's amazing. And him and another one of our animation programmers were kind of playing around, and then all of a sudden we've got all these guys kind of running and flowing like water, and it was amazing. And we capitalized on that.
We believed in him, right? We knew that this guy was experienced. We'd made enough titles with him. We knew that we could take this prototype and really make it something that was going to be performant and work. But beyond that, as designers, we were really actually quite overwhelmed by the prospect of how do you design and balance a horde encounter? We're like, okay, well, what can we do? They all can't come at you at once, but they have to seem like they're coming at you once. They have to come at you at once, but the player needs a chance. And so we really just kind of started figuring out ways to kind of give players tools to deal with a large group of enemies, to control them or to at least stay one step ahead of them. It was actually kind of fun and overwhelming, but it was a quick death early on. And then as we started building in the rules of how they become aware, what they do.
We absolutely love that. That was like a driving force for this. We thought it was interesting, unique, and new. You know, we have our concept of a survival wave, which is effectively how you craft and how you swap out weapons. And to do that, we knew that we had to slow down time when you do that, because if we didn't, it's just too chaotic to hold and do that all at once. So because these guys are heavily physics-based, when we would slow down the game, they would interpenetrate each other just ever so slightly, which you couldn't tell. And then when you let go, go flinging out of the world. So, and it was just really silly. So we got a bunch of little silly bugs like that all the time. And
And that's what's fun about designing games. I think designers are problem solvers. Like, you know, when people say, oh, it's great to be a designer because you get to create stuff. Well, that's part of it, but really it's inventors make stuff. Designers solve practical problems. And this game definitely put us to the test, because you're solving one problem kind of inside of the larger ecosystem of a bunch of other problems. So you really have to kind of, you know, anticipate how these are going to affect one another and make sure that you don't have tunnel vision on your fixes.
Right.
But we came up with some really good fixes for all those horde problems, I thought.
To ride the broken road in days gone, you have one bike, your drifter bike. Take care of it, or find yourself on foot in a world where everything wants to kill you.
You know, we wanted to make an open world game, and we knew we wanted to do something different and unique. In all these open world games, vehicles they're cool, but they're disposable. What if they weren't? What if this guy had a bike that was his own and he had to keep it? So that opened up a lot of possibilities. But at the same time, the creative director was working on a character that was kind of inspired by, you know, Sons of Anarchy and the biker culture. And the two things just kind of worked together, because those guys love their bikes. They're their bikes. So it made sense from a survival point of view and resources that you couldn't just whistle for a bike to drive on up to you, and you know, you couldn't just have, they couldn't be disposable because there's not a lot of resources in the world. But then this character who would treat his bike like it's really precious, it was just kind of like a perfect coming together of two disparate elements.
Plus, we're all motorcycle, not the whole things, but we're motorcycle riders, and it's kind of one of those things, right? It's what we like.
With 6 regions, filled with abandoned Nero checkpoints, survivor camps, choked off tunnels, explore the world of days gone at your peril.
but we're all extremely passionate about it. This meshes a lot of the gameplay that we love. I mean, our studio, back from working on Siphon Filter, then we made Resistance Retribution, and we went to the PSP and made a few Siphon Filters on that. I mean, we've been playing around for quite a while, doing a lot of things with third-person shooters, and we knew that we wanted to carry that same type of gameplay and mentality to our next project. But how do we make it different than what we've done? We just don't want to carbon copy everything that we've done. So there's been a lot of choices and a lot of things, and we feel strongly about it. We like it.
We set out to make the best game possible, and Sony supports everything. People often ask us how we feel about Spider-Man and God of War and Horizon and all these games. And I keep saying that the thing that all those titles have in common is a really supportive publisher who wants to make the right game for the time that's right for that game. Every day that we've gotten to work on this title has made it better. I think that there's a lot of other things we built here too, not just a PS4 game. We built a new IP. We built a new fusion of many different game genres and things that come together to create this action, survival, open world game with a Horde is something that can pay dividends on the PS4 or in the future. There's a lot of equity that exists because of this, and it's not just engine or what hardware it's on.
Yeah.
You're afraid to be here. You're afraid to be a part of something. We need you here, and that scares the hell out of you.
Sony's been doing great with new IPs recently, right? You got Horizon, you got Spider-Man, you got Ghost of Tsushima, you got us.
We see whatever we do next is an opportunity to continue the story and an evolution of the gameplay and the systems. And all the things that we created have so much more possibility to explore and blow out and make much more rich and interconnected and rewarding for players.
You look at these things and it's amazing. Who does that these days? Who wants to take the chances on these things, right?
I see sequels as an opportunity to build upon and evolve and improve and really kick butt at what you did before. Just do it twice as good or 4 times better and just keep going. Drag a horde over to an enemy camp and let them do the work for you. It's not easy, it takes a little bit of work and caution, but you can pull it off, and it's really rewarding just to sit back and admire the chaos and kind of go in and mop up the survivors and take everything. So that's one of the pillars of our game, or one of the hallmarks. So I think that everybody needs to do that. Everything exists for a reason. Right. The purpose or utility may not seem that important or that obvious early on.
It's kind of figuring out the AI ecosystem, which we've dubbed the Freako system. You got to play the game and learn all that, and then you can figure out who hates who. And then you can literally start dragging people and playing around and seeing how the fight's going to turn out.
If players really take these options seriously and kind of take them to the next strategic level and think strategically and ask questions and see if the game answers those questions, I think they're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.